Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. I'm here for Therm O Web today. We have a fun team up with Brutus Monroe. They have great stamps, inks, stencils, and lots of other products that work perfectly with Therm O Web. I'm going to show you how I created a Halloween card and made foiled splatters. So let's get started. These are the products that I'm going to use today. You can see I have some ink from Brutus Monroe, a fun Halloween stamp, as well as a mixed media stencil. I'm going to use the Deco foil transfer gel and some Gina K Designs fancy foils for Therm O Web. I also have the Gina K Designs black cardstock, and I'm going to cut that down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This cardstock is pretty thick, so I am going to do some of the Deco foil transfer gel right on top, and it will hold up to it really nicely. So I'm going to lay my cardstock down on a grid pad that I have in the background there, just so that I can line everything up. I'm going to put the stencil on top, and I'm going to tape the sides of the stencil down to the paper pad underneath using some painter's tape. I have the iCraft Deco Foil Transfer Gel. This is a new bottle, so I'm going to wipe off everything from that lid there, make sure I keep every drop. And I'm going to use my palette knife, and I'm going to go in the direction of the stencil, so from side to side. I have in the past tried to do a little swipe up and down, and it ends up getting underneath the stencil. So you definitely want to go in the direction of the stencil here. And you can see that I am definitely covering all of the black cardstock, but not doing it so thick that it's going to take an eon to dry. If you do it in a decent amount like this, it should take about an hour, and you'll know it's dry when the adhesive is clear. You can see that it's white right now. Make sure to clean your stencil and your palette knife right away, because that is adhesive. Now I'm going to stamp the Brutus Monroe stamp with their detail ink. This ink is alcohol safe friendly, and it is also water set friendly once it's dry. So I'm going to use my Misty because it's a pretty detailed stamp, and I do want to get a really dark impression. So I'm going to stamp it twice, and you can do that with the Misty because the stamp and the paper stays in exactly the same position. So I really like the look of that, and I'm gonna wait for it to dry. I might even heat set it a little bit, and then I'm gonna color it in with some Copic markers. Now I'm not doing anything super fancy here. I just wanna get some moody colors laid down. So the pumpkin face is going to be orange, but everything else is gonna be grays and browns. Just again, a very moody look to it because it's kind of that creepy Halloween scene there that we're creating. So even the sky is all going to be gray. I'm gonna use some light grays and then come in with some darker grays from some shading there. But the image is pretty fine detailed, so I'm not going to worry about lots of shading and using 3 colors for every image and that kind of thing. I just want to get a little bit of hint of color because the rest of the card is going to be basically just black and orange. So I want this to stand out enough that you do see it, but also doesn't take away from the really fun foiled effects that we're going to do. So the bird is going to be mostly brown there with a hint of gray. Okay, now we're going to create our splatters. We're going to use the Therm O Web adhesive pen, and I've pressed down on the tip on a piece of scratch paper enough to make it pool there. And then I'm just picking up that excess and tapping pretty hard on the pen to get it to splatter. You could use a cheap paintbrush for this, but it would likely destroy your brush, so it would have to be a really cheap one. So there's that, and it's dry now on that die cut circle. And so we're going to use some Deco foil. I have the black here, and I thought that would look really fun on that orange circle. That orange cardstock is also from Gina K for Therm O Web, and then we're going to run it through my laminator, which is nice and hot. And you can see when I peel the foil back, you've got these really fun black splatters, which at first glance might just look like ink splatters, but when you hold them up to the light, you can see that they are really shiny, just like foil. So if you did this with gold, it would be really pretty as well, but I really like the black on the orange here, especially because I had to fussy cut out some of the black splatters from the stamp image. Okay, so once this stencil is dry, and that's going to be all clear, I'm going to send it through my laminator with the orange sweet mango Gina K fancy foils, and then I'm going to put the rest of my card together using Therm O Web Memory Runner XL and some Therm O Web 3D Zots to pop up that little stamped image that we fussy cut. I also used some mini Zots to adhere those little clear bubbles that I got from Brutus Monroe, and everything was adhered down to a Gina K 120 pound 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 top folding note card that I created with her really heavyweight awesome white cardstock. So that is it for today, a really simple technique that adds a lot of foil and shine and fun to your Halloween cards. I hope you'll give it a try. If you want to check out the products, you just need to look down below. I'll have them all linked there. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a great day.